Okay, welcome everybody. Mobile privacy, Tor on the iPhone and other usual devices. First thing first, who am I? My name is Bonetti. I'm working as a security consultant for CutAway. And I'm also a Tor user and searcher at the Slackware Linux project Italy. Here are my handle, my website, my Twitter account, my SUP account, which is very popular here, I think. And so, which is the outline of this talk? I give a brief overview of mobile phone insecurity, or the security, and we start talking how Tor runs and how you can install it on mobile phones and other devices. Okay. So this is just state of the art. It's not in depth because at this conference there are many good talks about in depth security for cellular phone networks and stuff like that. What we have seen in the past years is that there has been a continuous growth of mobile phone, both in computational power. We have had access to high-speed data network, and mobile phones now are supporting a real operating system. I mean, something which is similar to an operating system which is running on your computer. Another thing is that phones are personal. I always write this line, so raise hand if in this room there's someone which is not owning a mobile phone. So far, I just found one person who was saying that he didn't own any mobile phone. Because, mobile phones are every day are with us. We take them everywhere we go, and we never leave house without them. As you know, phones are a critical piece of hardware because they contain lots of useful information, call logs, other stuff, blah, 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 blah. Unfortunately, there's even too much trust involved in the usage of mobile phones because, we have a lot of sensitive information on there, and we, as a user, we trust our phone, and our phone trusts the operator they are currently attached to, because it's the operator which makes it possible to start or receive any phone call. And operators have to trust themselves to route calls around the globe. And if we follow this chain, it means that users have to trust operator as well. And why there's so much trust? Because this is the typical user when something is going wrong with their phone. So other problems which have to be addressed when talking about phone security or mobile phone insecurity is that there's too much heterogeneity. I like heterogeneity because different things will sprint the growth of technology and not focusing on a single vendor or something like that will really rise the competition. But we have close communication protocol, we have different type of networks, tons of different hardware models, and many more different operating systems. So things are really getting out of hand. Another issues you can encounter when thinking about security and mobile phone are architectural issues. This is a screenshot of me trying to log in Gmail, and as you can see here, the screenshot have been taken while the password field has the focus, and the keyboard for input the password is only presenting me alphabetical characters. No numbers, no symbol, nothing, just characters. If I have to write a complex password, I have to keep pressing different keys in order to show up different keyboards and so on. Another example, I have to say that in this case things are getting better. this one was an old software version of my phone, and I was visiting a website with a self-signed cert, and I have no way to distinguish the certificate which was presented to me. I have only the choice to accept the certificate without knowing which certificate I was accepting, or just cancel the navigation. Another problem which we have to keep in mind and we have to address is who really owns the device. You think you're the end user, so you say, okay, I bought the device, I'm owning it. Well, it's not that true, because it's like a food chain. On the top of it, there's the manufacturer or the vendor, and I'm reporting here some title from articles which shows up in the past. There was some time ago, in 2010, I think it was French government, I can't recall really, which say a polyphone banned for ministers. Then there's the carrier operator. In 2009 in the Middle East there was dangerous software update delivered to BlackBerry user. A talk for Black Hat DC 2010, which was called Phone Privacy. The guy over there presented a really cool application which was able to dig through your phone and harvest many data. And in the end, we are here. If we take a look instead at the data, how is it handled? Well, the scenario is it's not really happy set, because most of the time data on your phone or on your devices is stored in clear text. BlackBerry and Nokia allow some sort of encryption, but the problem is that most of the time you as the user have the power to give all or nothing data access to an application or to a service. Sometimes you really want to do what you really want to do is have some fine-tuning. Communication insecurity, this is the hot field right now. GSM has been broken. There was a talk a couple of years ago about messing with GSM. Tomorrow is plenty of talk on this topic, which are really cool. UMTS is not faring very well. SMS, last year there was a couple of wonderful talks here at DeepSec talking about how you can mess up with SMS. Another degree of research has been done for MMS. There's Colin Moliner, which is doing really great stuff in this field. And well, this is just well-known stuff. Bluetooth is dangerous. There was that affair with Paris Hilton and his phone snooped with Bluetooth. Everybody knows that Wi-Fi could land a really nice attack. Near-field communication, I think that it was or it's going to be researched here in Vienna, if I'm not wrong. And again, operator injection of HTTP headers to disguise your identity. Really cool stuff. So this is just to recap what I was blubbering right now. Mobile phones are everywhere. Mobile phones were designed to do phone calls, and sending text messages. They were not designed to be used to access all modern networks. And data stored on these devices cannot be easily protected, and communication needs to be secured. I'm not going to address all of these issues. I'm just going to address a little bit part of the last issues. And to address that, we will talk about Tor mobile phones and other strange and unusual devices. So, I'm assuming that everybody here know what Tor is and how it works. If anyone here have any doubts, it doesn't know what this picture is, okay? I see an hand. Anybody? Okay. Just for the guy over there, this is a crash course on Tor. There's Alice, Alice, which is going to contact Bob, and in a usual communication, you will see a red dotted line between Alice and Bob. But Alice is using Tor, so Alice asks Dave the IP address of the computer you see here with green crosses. These are Tor routers, nodes of the Tor network. And then Alice builds a free hop chain from herself to Bob, and then he can easily contact Bob without disclosing her own origin. It's exit, the node on the right, which is contacting Bob. Okay, it was really quick and not really specific, just to have an idea. Okay, this is the history of Tor strange and unusual devices. The first strange port of Tor has been built in December 2007, and it was on the iPhone. 2 years later, on the Chumby One, this year we got an explosion of Tor on strange devices. iPhone, again, Nokia and Android. More on this double port later. So, when you are going to port, not Tor in the specific case, but a program to another platform, well, you have some problem to address. The first problem is available hardware. I mean, in the past there were people which were trying to install Tor on, home router and stuff like that, failing because Tor is a bit memory hungry, and sometimes routers have only 4 megabytes of RAM or something like that. Just for the fun of it, I tried to load Tor on such router, and well, it kept rebooting because the program was eating all the RAM. Then you have to take a look at the hosting operating system, and maybe you have to rewrite parts of the program to blend to have the program running into the operating system. Then there are user issues to address, like how you can install a program on such devices, and if you are going to provide a user interface to control that the program on that device. The first strange port I'm going to talk about is Tor on the Chumby One. Anyone here does not know what a Chumby One is? Okay, someone over there. Okay, it's an alarm clock. I'm not joking. Okay, here it is. It's a great alarm clock. It's supporting a Linux operating system inside that alarm clock, running on IRM CPU and 64 megabytes of RAM. This port was built by Bunny of Bunny Studios, bunnystudios.com, and Jacob Appelbaum. And this is really interesting as a port because they had to address the problem I was talking, the main problem I was talking before, which is they really have a small amount of RAM to work with. 64 mega more, literally more than 4 megabytes, but they are just the bare minimum requirement for Tor. So this is the hard way to install Tor on such device. You have to compile or install the cross toolchain to build program for your alarm clock. You have to check out the sources of the port. You have to run make in that source tree. Then you have a zip with your build. You just unzip that build on a USB key. You reboot the alarm clock with the USB key inserted, and you are running Tor. Obviously, there's also the easy way, which is you just unzip a build provided by that site or a friend, and you are done. Why this port was interesting? Well, because it was an alarm clock, obviously, but also because they address some architectural problems. First thing, the installer is creating a swap file for the operating system which is running on the device. Then they choose to configure the running Tor node as a bridge, listening on the HTTPS port. Doing this, they solved two issues. The first one is that this way, the node, the program running on the clock, is consuming less resources than running a full Tor node. And well, they use HTTPS port to allow an easier usage of for clients in difficult countries where traffic is strictly filtered. Unfortunately, there's no online upgrade mechanism or easy upgrade mechanism. I mean, sometimes it happens that you have to upgrade your version of Tor because it becomes obsolete or is dangerous or whatever. And the directory authorities, which are the node, if you are not familiar with Tor, are the node which regulates the network, and they describe which version are allowed to run and which version are not allowed to run. Maybe they are going to cut you off, so you have to upgrade your program. And right now there's no easy solution unless you have a freshly built and you plug the USB and reboot your clock. Another interesting point is that some months later of when they presented this port, Bunny of Bunny Studios wrote another post which said that inside the operating system of the alarm clock there's an official support for 3G dongles, which it's cool. So to recap, here are the achievement for this port. They achieved to run Tor on limited resources, and they provide an easy install method. The second port is Tor Mimo and the Nokia N900. This was easy. I mean, the Nokia has a powerful ARM CPU, lots of RAM, and well, it was easy because Tor was already in the Mimo community. So the program itself was not hard to distribute. What they did is write this simple graphical user interface. And, install this program is even easier because you just open up your phone, you enable the s.r.l level repository. There will be a pop-up saying, okay, it's dangerous, be aware. Okay, you just look for Tor inside your package manager and you're done. This is how you run Tor on your Nokia phone. You just pull out the menu and push the Onion router logo, and you can enable and disable on this screen. You can enable and disable it. Okay. This port is not interesting in itself because, as I said before, Tor was already available, but they did some improvement. I mean, it's the first mechanism I'm aware of an really easy install method of Tor on these devices, and it's easily upgradable too because the Nokia is running a package management system like Yum, NPT, and so on. And well, this is also the first graphical controller application for handheld devices that I'm aware of. Next port is Orbot, Tor on Android. So far, this is the best port you can ever have of Tor on mobile devices. Okay, everybody knows what Android is, I think. Just to recap, Linux-based operating system, many different hardware models, and so forth. And Orbot has been built by the Guardian project. Guys over there are providing lots of interesting stuff, not only Tor, but also secure browsers and messaging systems and lots of good stuff. How you can install Tor on Android? Well, you have just to scan that QR code. I haven't checked it out, but I think that if you try it right now, it will point you to the latest version of Orbot for Android. They are not yet in the Droid market. Don't know why, but not yet. They are working on it.
It's in the market.
Oh, okay, it's in the market. Wow, wonderful. I have to upgrade my slides. Thanks. How could you run Tor? Well, this is a snapshot of the controlling application. You just toggle it like on the Nokia. As you can see, this application or bot let you do more interesting stuff. You can configure the behavior of your application. With the Nokia, you can't. It was just an on-off switch. And as a side note, if you rooted your Android device, you can run Tor as a transparent proxy, so you don't have to bother with applying proxy setting to all of your application, which is really cool. So here are the achievements: easy application, highly configurable, and transparent proxy only for rooted devices. At the end, we are here on mobile Tor, which is Tor for iDevices. So, what are iDevices? You are pretty confident with them, I hope. They are devices which are running on Darwin, or, well, that version of Darwin called iOS. They are running on powerful ARM CPU, and they got a lot of RAM to use, from 128 megabyte to half a gig. Okay, you can recall maybe this slide. There was a port for Tor on iPhone in 2007, then there's my port in 2010. Why? Well, because the original port was made by this handle, Wang. It was built for iOS 1.1.1, and it was really difficult to have it running. There were a lot of patches to be applied to overcome firmware limitation, like the firmware wasn't allowing more than a fixed number of connection, otherwise the phone will crash. And he or she shipped the Tor port with a copy of privacy, and also shipped the programs with a copy of iTor.app, which was a graphical controller application. Unfortunately, CJacker1 literally disappeared from the mailing list and from the web. iTor.app disappeared with its author, and the only thing that remained were the patches he applied to the Tor source tree, because they were merged into the official tree. So when I bought my first iPhone, I decided to bring back this project. I installed the open source toolchain. At the time, at the beginning of this year, I was targeting iOS 3.1.2, and I was cross-compiling from Slackware. My port is built following J. Freeman convention. If you don't know who J. Freeman is, he is s.r.l, the guy behind Cydia, the app store for a jailbroken phone. I'm following his conventions. My sources for this port are an overlay for Telesphoreo Tangelo. Telesphoreo Tangelo is just the name of the Unix software distribution, which is the core of Cydia. And you can find more information on that address. It's really easy if you want to build Tor yourself, because you just have to install the toolchain, the open source toolchain. You just check out s.r.l sources, and you just unpack my sources on top of it. So it's completely melted together. So the new port, was made by me. As I said before, it was built for iOS 3.1.2. Latest version we're targeting 3.2.2, because I was targeting also the iPad, but I'm not using any graphical user interface component, so this doesn't really matter. What I did, it was getting rid of the old patches, because they were no longer needed. I'm shipping with a copy of Polypoint instead of privacy. It's just a matter of choice. It's not really a problem. If you want privacy, run privacy. There's not really a problem with it. And I'm shipping also an SB setting plugin. If you don't know what SB setting is, it's this stuff. Oops. Wrong. Okay, this one is SB setting. If you jailbroke your phone, you can have this kind of console, where you can turn on and off program and utilities. How could you run Tor on such devices? Well, you have just to add my repository on the website. There are the instructions, which are pretty simple. You just have to copy a deb file. CD use the same package format as Debian and Ubuntu in a folder, and you have to reboot your phone, and then you have my repository added to your device. You just look for the program called Tor Toggle, and once you have added it to SB setting, just push this icon, and it will be turned on and off or off. So, does it work? Yes, it does. It works as a client. It works as a relay. You can build hidden services with it. Because I really didn't have to do anything that just cross-compiling it, because I'm using the original sources for Tor. The interesting part is that it's running both via wireless and cellular data network. And other interesting part is that iOS should do the transparent proxy. I said should do because, if you are familiar with iOS, you have to go to the wireless tab settings. You have to look for the SID you are currently attached to, and you can set a proxy for the test SID. You set a proxy only in one place, and you hope that all the application will use it. It's not always true. I think that Mail app has the mail reader has some problem with it, but Mobile Safari uses it, and that's a snapshot. I was on check.torproject.org, which is a simple test page for checking if you are using or not Tor. There are limitations. Okay, iOS does not support SOX proxies. Tor is a SOX proxy. There's a workaround. We run Polypo, which is an HTTP proxy in front of it, so we can use the node. There are no HTTP proxy if you are running on cellular data networks. You can set that. You can set an HTTP proxy in such cases. There are some tricks or some workaround, like if you enable a VPN, like even an insecure one, like the one not DeepSec, PPTP. Even an insecure VPN will allow you to set a proxy then. And there's what on the mailing list of the Tor project is called Tor Secure Browser, meaning a browser which will not leak your personal information or your browsing session data. If you were here last year, I gave a talk about how to trying to broke or de-anonymize Tor user using HTML5 features. There aren't only a limitation on the iOS side, there are even limitations for Tor, unfortunately. The program is cryptographically intense. It's all SSL, which is running here. So the battery drain is a bit heavy. And cellular data networks aren't really Tor friendly, because you get rapidly changing IP address. At least in Italy, you have spot coverage. It's not a good situation to easy run a node. Future ideas for the port. Well, right now, I reduced the use of the command line interface at a minimum. I mean, you can install the program without using the command line, but if you are going to use configuration which is not the standard for browsing, but you want to do something more, you have to use the command line. There's the need for a graphical controller application, and something like Vidalia or something like our bot, which you can use to configure your program. I really can't program in Objective-C. It's too difficult for me, and so I'm stuck. And well, this is something which I'm not even addressing. There's still a need for a secure browser because mobile Safari is not enough if you want to use Tor in a secure way. There are even some other ideas. I mean, IRM, which is the anonymity relay monitor, it's a cool Python program to monitor the status of your node. It's working. You have to install a terminal or access your device through SSH, but it's working and it's a snapshot. OnionCat, it's something which it's worth a look. I haven't started working on it, but it's something that could be used. And I did some work on TTDNSD, which is a wrapper for DNS queries, but it's not working very well because the operating system, the program is using library preloading, and the operating system it's not kind enough to let me do the work without harassing me. And I don't know if there probably are more ideas we could work on. If you have any idea, feel free to share. Or if you have any questions, I mean, okay, raise hand over there. Okay, ask. No, you weren't raising your hand. Okay. Okay, thanks.
Actually, if no one has a question, I might ask whether, so you developed this for the iPhone specifically, how would the same plugin work on an iPad, say?
Yeah. iPad, iPod, Apple TV, they are all running iOS, so you can run Tor on all of these devices. Okay, the title of the presentation was Tor on the iPhone, but really I have to change it to Tor for iDevices in this part, because when I started working on it, there was only iPhone and iPod, and then they came out iPad and Apple TV, and they're all sharing the same operating system, so you can run the program on all of them with no problem.
Do we have any more questions? Because that's the time. Could be lengthy questions.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, since your Tor client works only on jailbroken iPhones, if there are any plans like to cooperate with Apple to get it in the official App Store so it works on devices without a jailbreak?
Okay. Was the first. Okay, I didn't say that. Maybe not clearly. You have to jailbreak your device to run Tor on it. In case of my port. This was also the first question I received when I presented the port to the Tor developer community, and the problem was there were two problems. I'm not owning an Intel Mac. Okay, all of my development is through Linux. Okay, which is not a supported operating system for the App Store. If you want to submit anything to the App Store, you have to download the SD key, which is only for Intel Mac, and well, you have also to pay the license and blah 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 blah. So it was easier for me because I'm not owning an Intel Mac. I'm only owning Linux machines. So developing within the open toolchain was a forced solution. The second part. The second problem was that back at the time, in February, there were many limitations on application which could be accepted into the App Store. Such limitation cannot be easily integrated into Tor. One of them is the ability to throttle the bandwidth used by your application while you are not on Wi-Fi. This is a great problem because if you throttle the bandwidth of your node, you are more easy traceable. So it defeats the purpose of running Tor on such devices using something from the App Store. Not to mention that right now Tor is working as a daemon. It's installing Tor on your devices is like the same thing of installing Tor on a Unix machine. It's a system daemon. You start and you stop it, but it's a system daemon, and you can do that in the App Store. It could be done. It could be done, but it involves an amazing amount of work. You have to the roadmap, the hypothetical roadmap would be that of splitting the sources of Tor and having something like libtor, okay? Not a single program, a single daemon, but a library for doing onion routing. After you have done so, you can integrate that library into various kind of clients. But it's something that Tor developers are not addressing and are not interested in doing right now. So it's not easy to have Tor in the App Store, not at all.
Do we have another question?
Okay, thanks.